the day Yessenia Suarez and her 2 children went missing, Yessenia's husband, Luis Toledo, claimed he didn't know anything about the disappearance.
He maintained that story for about 8 or 10 hours. As we began to uncover evidence that he had moved throughout several counties, we were able to debunk his story and show that he was lying to the police.
After letting Luis think about that revelation overnight, detectives bring him back for a second day of interrogation, and this time as an emotional Toledo looks at pictures of his family, he tells cops he's ready to talk.
I'd call it a breakdown. The moment of confession.
Everything happened.
It began, Luis says, around 3 a.m. that morning, when according to Luis, he ran into Tyshawn outside.
I told him I was having problems. He came over, was talking to me. I said, I know my wife hates when I play PS3. That's her most hated thing. She hates that. So I told him, we gonna go in the house and play. I don't care if she gets upset.
Once inside with Tyshawn, Luis says Yessenia came out spoiling for a fight. We want to warn you, what he says happened next may be extremely disturbing to some viewers.
When she saw Tyshawn, she started going off on me. She told that she wanted everybody to leave. She wanted me to get out the house. I told her I didn't have to go. Me and her started arguing. She came at me. She grabbed me on the back. I got these scratches back here. She grabbed me from the back. I just got upset. I got so tired of her grabbing on me. I couldn't get her up with the neck. She fell down on the floor, holding her neck, looking at me.
And Luis says he makes an upward motion, quick striking upward motion, and he hits Yessenia in the throat and collapses her windpipe.
She stopped breathing. She stopped breathing. She died looking at me.
She dies in his arms.
That's why I never hit her. Never hit her because I know my strength. I know my strength.
But as shocking as the confession was, that was only half of the horror.
The kids came out of the room because of the screams. I told Tyshawn, take him over there, please take him. They took him to the room. I heard pop, pop, pop. I went over there, he had taking his hand, he hit my kids in the head, there was blood everywhere.
Luis claims when he went to the bathroom, he found Tyshawn standing over his stepkids, holding an axe.
I told him, what the did he do? He told me. He can't go to jail for my wife's murder. The kids saw it. I said, oh my God, Tyshawn, you killed my kids.
So there it was. Luis says he snapped after being attacked by his wife and killed her by mistake. But that it was Tyshawn who killed the kids.
I knew they wouldn't believe me. I knew they wouldn't believe me.
As for all that evidence Tyshawn told police Luis dumped, Luis claims that was really Tyshawn as well, and that he's also the one who got rid of the bodies.
He took all 3 at the same time?
Yes. He was gone for hours.
He didn't tell you where he took them?
No, he wouldn't tell me. He said it was best that I don't know.
It's a compelling story. Unfortunately for Toledo,
That's it, I promise. That's it. It's nothing else.
authorities don't buy a word of it. First, there's the blood evidence.
If they had been killed with an axe, as he claimed, there should have been blood everywhere. Indications are that it probably was more of a blunt object, simply because there wasn't cast off along the ceilings or the walls, consistent with a linear weapon.
And then there was Tyshawn himself.
At first we considered that he might be an accomplice, but after probably close to 30 hours of interviews and doing a thorough background of Tyshawn Jackson, we were convinced that he had no involvement, that he was simply the guy that Toledo asked for help.
The only thing Luis said that police do believe, Yessenia Suarez, her daughter Talia, and son Michael Elijah lost their lives in the house that night. That became even more clear after the lab results came back on all that blood.
Talia's blood was on the trunk mat of her mother's car that was found in a dumpster in Seminole County. Talia's blood was on the toe of Luis Toledo's boot, found in the same dumpster. Talia's blood was in 12 or 13 different places in the master bathroom in a spatter pattern that would indicate at least 3 physical acts where she received some sort of violent blow.
Luis Toledo would be charged with all 3 murders, a possible death sentence in the state of Florida, but would he ever make it to trial? 2 days after his supposed confession, detectives sit Luis down one more time to find out what he did with the bodies.
On this particular day, I believe it was October the 26th, he came in to be interviewed. It was quite clear from the very beginning that he appeared almost in a depressed state.
So are you going to tell them where your family's at?
As we talked to him, he kept saying that he had some kind of stomach problem. We would take him to the bathroom, each and every time.
He used the bathroom, my stomach hurts.
You got your bathroom again?
Stomach hurts.
Okay. Let's make sure it's clear.
Then, during one of those trips, Luis turns to one of the detectives and says this.
The officer told him, just tell us where the bodies are. And Luis Toledo's response was, I will never tell you where the bodies are.
After that, he stepped inside the bathroom and closed the door. You can hear the commotion that follows.
He's able to barricade himself in the bathroom. He breaks a mirror, takes the glass from the mirror, and begins to start cutting himself.
Coming up,
I think that he felt that the walls were closing in around him and he was looking for a way out.
On October 26th, his story evolved from I killed my wife and Ty killed the kids, and I have no idea where the bodies are, to I'll never tell you where they're located. And then within just a few short minutes, tried to kill himself.